Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to my client spotlight series. And today we're joined by Faduma, who came to my last round. She invested in the last round sacred from a pleasure. And let me just tell you guys, first of all, I love Faduma so much. She's amazing. And I can't wait to have this conversation with you. So Assalamu alaikum, Faduma. Thank you so much for joining.
Walaikum assalam, Rosaline. Thank you for making this time for me.
Oh, alhamdulillah. Okay, let's get straight into it, girl. So, what made you join Sacred Family Pleasure? Because I know we had a few conversations in the DMs. So, what made you go from just like watching, reading my post to signing up?
Your genuinity in the way you just spoke to me. And so I'm not new to like this world of doing like inner work and just like learning about yourself. I've just never found a coach that I felt connected to. A lot of the people that I listened to and like took knowledge from were like men, mainly like white males, and I respected their views and I respected what they had to say, but it was always missing something. And then I had a beautiful friend of mine one day send me one of your videos. I'll have to look back and look through to see which one it was, like, so I could share it with you later, inshallah. But she sent it to me and I said, SubhanAllah, like Allah's answering my prayers, because I've always said, I want to do like this inner work with somebody else guiding me, but I want it to be somebody who I trust, somebody who's a woman, and also somebody who's a Muslim woman. Because for me, doing this type of work is really connected to like also leveling up my connection with God. And you just hit all those points. And I couldn't ignore it. Like the part of me that was scared of like making like the leap of faith to be vulnerable with somebody was screaming it out at me, but I couldn't stop. I binged like everything that you had to say. I watched all of your Instagram videos, your Instagram lives when I would be cooking, to the point where my husband was he knew who you were. He's like, oh, you're listening to that girl again. I'm like, yeah, that's my girl. She's my coach. She just doesn't know it yet. So like it was like consistent, and I was so dedicated. Like I'm a very like I was always very like in my head about things, because like I had to always understand things. I had to always be able to like break it down from like the top level to the bottom level and then apply it to myself. So that's what I did with you, but I always knew something was missing, because I wasn't getting the full effect of what you were talking about. And that's when I knew. So I literally left you a voice note, and I remember I was just like bawling. I was like, oh my God, you're just speaking to my soul. I need to do this with you.
Oh my God.
And now we're here.
Oh, alhamdulillah. Faduma, I just want to say thank you, yeah, because you are that type of woman that you have such, mashallah, alhamdulillah, you have such a big personality, alhamdulillah, like you, and what it is, your personality doesn't take over the space. Like your personality is so welcoming and so like open to being coached. Because I know you just like you said, you got it, you understand things, you get it, but you are willing to be coached and you are willing to be vulnerable. This is so key. Because I know for a lot of us women, we get scared being vulnerable with another woman, especially when we see the woman on social media. Like, I'm just like you. I'm no different. I'm not anyone special. I'm not anyone on a pedestal or a hierarchy. But I love the fact that you were able to say to me, I really want to take this on, like full effect, full force, go all in. I know it's not enough just reading the content. I know it's not enough just watching the video. I have to be in that container and be in that energy. And I know for a fact, Faduma, that's what really helped you get massive results in Sacred Family Pleasure. So I'll say thank you for that. Thank you for showing up and being yourself, girl. My next question is, how much of a hot mess were you before Sacred Feminine Pleasure?
Okay, so what's funny is when I was a teacher, like there was a moment where like there was a whiteboard and everybody would write things like a compliment to about another teacher, but you didn't know who it was to and you didn't know who it was from. And somebody wrote something like, I'm like, she's so, but sorry, they knew who it was, but I didn't know who wrote it. So the person wrote, Faduma is so composed. And I remember walking by that and I said, huh? Me? Composed? I'm like, I'm a disaster on the inside, but it's just like on the outside, it's just like kind of not there because like my personality isn't just like so like out there like that, but like on the inside, it was like going wild, and then that was because I was like so stuck in my head, like intellectualizing everything, intellectualizing my pains or my difficulties. And then it would just translate, but then as a feeling, it would just translate to like me being numb inside. Like I would just be like, it was like kind of like I was always on high alert. So like, let's say if a dog is like running towards you, and this has happened to me before, and I have a massive fear of dogs. So like when a dog would run towards me, I'd be so scared, but like, I know I'm scared, but I would be numb and I would freeze and I would just stop. And I didn't realize that until now, that like, that's how I would react to everything. So I looked so composed, but inside I was just like screaming and just didn't kind of not know where to go, that everything just translated to me being like numb, and I had a lot of love for people. I could always express it for everyone else. I could always genuinely be that for everyone else. And I loved it. Like it fed me, it gave me feeling. But when it came to me with me and my relationship with me, that's where it was like confusing. So like I would say like my hot messness was just me being like totally just numb.
Right.
Not
Oh.
afraid, not knowing how to celebrate myself, not knowing when to congratulate myself, like downplaying big things that would happen. Like we've experienced a lot of death in like between me and my husband with our like immediate family members over the past few years. And even with that, like it, like I would always just, my initial reaction would always be numb. Like, okay, yeah, that happened, but like kind of be what you have to be for everyone else. And then like it would be like maybe a month or two later where I would like really like then feel everything, but then it felt like everyone else would like pass by and they'd be moving on, and I would just be like stuck in that numb feeling. And I'm like, okay, well, everyone else has passed it because like they've already grieved, right? But I'm like, hey, like now since everyone else has passed it, like Faduma, you gotta like get over it, And I see
Right.
like as a blessing in some way too, but I just always had a hard time feeling my feelings. Like I thought it was just wrong to feel my feelings and like express them.
And this is so, thank you so much for sharing that, because I feel like a lot of women don't really understand like the depth of it. Like you just described it perfectly, that there's chaos happening, like a dog coming towards me. I'm just frozen. I'm frozen in time. And this is where our feminine energy gets castrated. Like we can't feel. The feminine energy wants to be felt. It wants to feel all parts of it. But when we're so used to being in our head, we end up in our masculine. And that's why we end up like overgiving, or we do things for people because we want to feel love, but we don't know how to give the love to ourselves. But feminine energy is like, it's so easy to give love to yourself. Like when you're in your femininity, it's like, I want to feel soft. I want to feel relaxed. I like that relaxed feeling. I like feeling well taken care of. I like feeling loved. But when you're in that space of like, oh, I need to run, I'm in fight or flight, that's when our masculinity turns on. All you can think about is composure, being focused, being disciplined, and is chasing. That's all we can think about. So what was abundance rewiring like for you, Faduma? What was that experience like?
It was like more relaxing than waking up from an 8-hour sleep. Like that 45 minutes or to an hour, because like every session would be a different, like it would take a different like amount of time, but I would always come out of it so relaxed and clearer. Like I came out so clear on the version of myself I wanted to be. Not only the version of myself I wanted to be, but the version of myself that I am, that I've been hiding away. And like through that, I learned that the part of myself that was like in a cycle of just like self-doubt or procrastinating or dismissing myself and not giving myself grace, that part of me was kind of like a fake version of me. Like we tend to kind of think like the part of us that's the higher self that we're walking into, that's the part that's the fake one. That's the one that's like we're being delusional about, we're pretending to be that person. But in actuality, we're that person who like we envision ourselves to be. And then the one where it just shows up like this riddled in like the self-doubt and the confusion and the fear, and like that's the person that we're pretending to be. And that's why it's so hard. And that's why there's like that constant like fight between it, right? Because if you're meant to be something or be in a place, you don't have this fight of like, I don't want to be like that, you know? And but when you're like with your in your like space of how you are and how you want, like who you really are, you don't want to fight that. You embrace it. So like it really made me realize that like everything else was just a front. Like it was just a front. because
Okay.
you know, like with all like and with like all honesty too, like, and it's so understandable because like life can be hard, you know, we all have like hard moments and we just don't know how to handle it and deal with it. And the thing about you, Rosaline, that like I really loved is like there were moments where we didn't believe in ourselves, but you believed in us. And I feel that like if there's anything of being in that space with you, it's that your belief in us translated, because it's so strong, like you believe so strongly in us and our potential that you're like, no, I'm not going to accept you not believing in yourself because I do. And look at where your belief got you. Like it could do the same for us. You know, it's like we're like borrowing your belief and like in us until we can like walk in it, you know? And like I just love that part. And like when you also said like he said something about like a hierarchy with like working with you and stuff, and like it's not a hierarchy. Like it's so true. And it's like so funny because I wanted it so bad to be a hierarchy. When I started off, like I just wanted you to just be like, okay, like this, but you're just like no. And you kept saying you're like, I'm just like you, like I'm not in this hierarchy of you. And like people who are just so stuck into seeking the validation from everyone, they want to constantly put themselves like kind of like they want to like be inferior to somebody for whatever reason, because it's safe, because it's like you don't trust yourself. And you just like from the beginning you're like, no, like we're not doing any of that, you know? And it was scary, I'm not gonna lie, but like it just like it was just so beautiful because it's true. Like you're my coach and I admire you so much and you have so much wisdom and knowledge, but like you're also like a friend, you know? Like I came out of it like, oh, like Rose is just my girl, you know, like she's just a friend.
Oh, so good. Oh, I love that. And Faduma, I am. Like I like to have that friend. And I feel like in some containers, not in all, but in some healing containers, it's not that relationship with your coach where you feel like I can just be vulnerable with her. She's a human being like me. She's healing with me. Like I always say with you guys, like I'm healing with you. Like I'm going through some stuff in my life that comes up every time I do sacred feminine pleasure. Some other stuff comes up. My identity shifts. Like chaos happens in my life. But I want to show you, I don't want to hide that from you. I want to show you that even if I go through it, I'm here holding the belief that you can have anything you want. You can get healed. You can be successful. You can have it all. Like you can live a life full of pleasure, desire, connection to Allah. And I'm glad that you mentioned that it felt genuine, because that I really want to bring that more. Like I feel like not that I pride myself on it, but I feel like a lot of women, when they see, maybe they see me on social media and think, okay, she's got 14K followers. She has runs this, it's scary, right? It's like, oh my God, like how can I ever match her? Guys, you don't need to match me. We're all together. We're in this together. Do you know? And I found out this definition for the word competition. The real definition for the word competition is to strive together. There's no competition in my space. We're all striving together. We're all coming together as one, and we're all healing together, because when we all heal as women, we build better communities, we have better homes, we become just better women. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so what were your biggest breakthroughs, Faduma?
Oh my God, I had like so many. And what's like amazing about it is like I had all these breakthroughs on my own. So like when something would come up and it was like through the container, but like when I would really want to understand something, like for example, I wrote about it recently, but for example, procrastination. I was like why when I love what I'm doing, I love what I want to do, and like it just translated to everything else too. Like when I still love something, like why was I pushing it off until the last minute, you know? And then when I would do that, it would make me feel guilty. And then it would make me feel ashamed. And it would be that cycle of like, okay, I'm going to procrastinate again. I'm going to keep procrastinating. And it's just like never ending. And you're like, okay, like I'm a failure. I'm never going to get past this. Maybe this isn't meant for me. Like that's not my purpose, you know? And like using the tools that you taught us, when I like took the time to like just stop, take a step back and reflect and think about, okay, why am I procrastinating to begin with? Okay, it's deeper than just like putting it off. Like, you know, there's something that like I felt like I was procrastinating because I was protecting myself from something. And I'm okay, what am I protecting myself from? And it took me back to a memory of when I was in 7th grade and I thought I was going to win an award. And I was so ready, and I was like ready to accept the award. And it was for the most improved because I've been like working so hard to like get that award, you know? And then the teacher said another girl's name, and I was crushed. Like, because deep down, like I just knew it was going to be me, you know? And then I felt embarrassed. And I never told anyone that like I thought I was going to win the award. But just within myself, I felt so embarrassed and so ashamed. Like, and I went to the bathroom and I just cried. And then I realized like I was procrastinating because I was afraid to feel that again. I was afraid to work so hard towards something and like feel that feeling of embarrassment, you know? And then I could at least be like, if I didn't like get what I wanted, I could be like, oh, you know what? I actually didn't work that hard. So it's fine, you know, it doesn't really matter. And
Right.
I caught that. So I caught that. And I was like, wow. And I just knew I needed to give myself some love and to let myself know that like that wasn't meant for you. And like, and it's okay. And accepting that was something that could only come from like me being able to like get rid of the shame around, you know, around situations. And like, so then now I just know like when I get this feeling of like, oh, I want to put something off, I'm like, hey, actually, I don't want to put it off. I just want to tell myself that like I'm doing a great job and I love what I love myself and I love this process. And then like through that, it's like instantly it's like gone. So then now things that I used to procrastinate from, I'm like, oh my God, like when is it like I need like when can I get home to do it? Like when is my son gonna go to sleep so I can like do it now, so I can work on it now, you know? So like it's been a lot of things like that. And what's great is like I never talked to you about this like during the container. I never talked about like that in that way, you know, it was like I did that on my own. So it's like the work we did together is something that like it's not just in those 8 weeks, it's literally like beyond, you know?
Oh, I love that. And it's constantly unfolding. And this is, and it's like, I know people think, okay, when I'm in a container, I have to get a massive breakthrough that has to feel like the skies have opened. But it's so true. When you do the subconscious work, the breakthrough always happens after. It always happens after. And that goes to show that you've done the healing, you're going through a healing process because, yes, you're going to get the breakthrough in the session, but the undoing has to happen after. Because think about it, you've created an environment, you create procrastination to keep you safe. Now that you've broken that belief in your mindset, it's like, well, the environment has to align, and sometimes it takes time. And then, but because you're so cemented and convicted in yourself, you know you're going to be able to handle that chaos. How was it? How was it? The emotional tools, were they difficult to use, or did you feel like you never had time in the container to go through the work? Was there any work that was too hard for you to do?
No, nothing was too hard because from the very first, the only hard thing I will say, and it's not even that it was hard to do, but it's just it's different, is after the first session, you feel this like sense of just a loss. Like there was this like sense of loss within me and like this longing, and I couldn't understand it. And what was beautiful is in the Facebook group with the other sisters, they were also feeling that same thing. And like collectively, we came to understand that that feeling of just like loss and like kind of mourning and grieving was like you letting go of your old identity that kept you safe, you know? And then just like being so confused and just like, okay, where am I supposed to go? But like, it was never a way where it's like, okay, I want to turn back. You want to keep going, but you feel that like loss. And like knowing that everybody else was feeling that too, like comforting, you know, and just like we were like growing together. And
Yes.
I really appreciated that.
Alhamdulillah. And that's why in week one we go headstrong with money, because money is a representative of your character. So like all of us have created a character to survive in this world. And usually the character we've created is not our true selves. So when you break away from that identity, you're going to feel such grief. It's like, this is all I've known my whole life. I just like you mentioned, like I told myself that I didn't really work that hard. That's why I never got the award. Like imagine you built your character from the belief that I'm just not good enough, that I don't get what I want. So now it's like when you heal that first money belief, the belief around money, that's not enough, I'm not good enough, is I have to prove my worth, I have to work hard for money. When you break those beliefs, you're breaking away from that identity you created as a young girl to survive in this world. And yeah, grieving, like guys, like grieving is hard. Like I'm telling you, sometimes you might grieve for a while, but you can get through it. As long as you have the emotional tools, you have the support, you're going to get through that grieving process. What was it like sharing, being vulnerable in the group?
It was like, so I have naturally had a hard time just being vulnerable, really. Like people really wouldn't know what I was really going through. Not because I was trying to hide it, but because like I said, like I was just like numb. Chaos would happen and I would just like be numb, right? So it just always felt like I never had things to share. But I just felt this like I wanted to share. It's like I knew that like I needed. It's like we do a lot of like purging, like purging the shame, but it's like I needed to like verbally like purge it out too, you know. So I felt like getting it out was like just like getting it out of my system. And I wasn't I was a little apprehensive like before I signed up about it being with like a group of women, but that turned out to be like the best thing because one, everyone is there for the same reason, you know. And like if you're anything like if people are anything like me, they're like, oh man, like somebody's gonna know like my embarrassing moments, or because you know you're raw and you're real and you're just like if you say these certain things to, and like in an outside world, it may come off like you're either selfish or you're like greedy or but it's none of that. So like I have those fears. I'm like, oh, but what if they misunderstand me? But recognizing that like literally everybody is there because they feel how you feel and they're trying to like get to their next level, get to the next place. It's like kind of comforting, you know, because it's like we're all like sloppy together. We're all
Exactly.
sloppy, you know.
Perfectionism. Like we're not trying to put on our best face. We're all crying, like, oh my God, this is so painful. Like we're all seeing each other in our worst, like what we perceive as our worst state. But that's you know what, it's so beautiful to witness women like just being vulnerable. That's like we're missing this like witnessing of like you're gonna be okay, like you're crying because you're gonna be okay. And I feel like that's what brings a lot of the energy into the container, that you don't feel like I can't cry. Oh no, I gotta act like I'm okay. Like you know, in the context, I don't like it when people act like they're okay. I know you're not okay. Let's talk. Let's hash it out. Let's have the conversation. Let's cry. Let's grieve. Let's release, because that's what's really going to bring that healing when you feel safe to do that. Okay, my final question to you, Faduma, because you've been just so amazing. Let's say someone is also watching, like you. She's watching my videos. She's reading my content, she's thinking, oh my God, Rosaline is speaking to me. What advice would you give her to just take the leap of faith and invest in sacred feminine pleasure?
What advice would I give? How do you expect others to believe in you when like you don't believe you're worth investing in? Like honestly and truly, if you don't believe that your self is worth investing in, then that's just going to translate out to other people, you know? And it's more than just like hoping for money to come back to you, but it's like receiving that love from like your family, from your children or your husband, you know? And when you like put yourself in a place where you feel like you're like kind of like intimidated by it, but you're intimidated by the investment of the money, and you tell yourself like, no, like I'm actually kind of worth it. Or even if you might not feel it, but even if you just follow through with it and you do it, you're like telling your subconscious that like, hey, I'm worth it, you know? And if there's anything worth investing in, like if somebody's having difficulty like figuring out their purpose or their direction, if there's anything worth investing in, it's to seek that. Because if you don't know, or if you can't like sit there and honestly like visualize and like write out who your higher self is, what she looks like, how she talks, how she dresses, how she smells, how she moves, how she, you know, what she does. Like if you can't really do that and feel it, then you're like, you don't know what you're working towards. So you'll always be at a loss of your purpose, you know? So if there's anything that you get out of it and you're looking for that, it's that. And that is like priceless, you know? Like it's so priceless. I remember after I signed up, and we had like, because like you get a lot of juicy bonuses, by the way. Like that I didn't know, you know, like once you get in, you were like, I was like, oh my God, wow, okay. So like, just that to look forward to, you know. Sorry, I don't know what you wanted me to say, but
I
there's
love it. The bonuses are still there. I love that.
yeah, there's just so much more. Like there's just so much more in it. And like I remember when I went in and I listened to like a few videos, I was like, I feel like I have what I need already. I'm like, what do I need these 8 weeks for? You know? So it's like everything else is just kind of like an addition. And like, guys, like no, like I'm so serious. I was so scared of always speaking up and always sharing my thoughts, because I didn't know, like I was always like, I don't know if, like, I just don't know if I can. But once you know, this is who I am, this is what she looks like, this is how she shows up, then you know how to put yourself out there, you know? And like, it's like, there's so much different pieces of information out there. And I was there, like, I was like, I'm a constant, like, I watch and I read and I learn, you know, but it's just this missing pieces. And honestly, the missing piece is being in community. Like we're social creatures, like we need to be in community to thrive. We can't thrive like individually. We just can't, you know? We can survive, sure, we can live, but like, how are you living? If you're honest with yourself, like how are you living within yourself?
Right. And we weren't created just to survive. Like we came from Jannah. Like Adam alayhi salam came from Jannah. Like we weren't put in this world to survive. We come with a purpose. And yes, one of the purposes is to worship Allah, but the other purpose is to figure out who you are, so that you can become a better person, to build, just like I said, build better communities, build a better family, build a better inner you, so that everyone on the outside of you gets the best of you. I feel like excellence in character is like one of the things I stand on, like having excellence in character, not because you want to be a perfectionist, not because you want to perform, but simply because you just want people to experience the best of you. I think that's such a powerful place to be. And just like Faduma said, guys, just sign up. Like, what are you waiting for? Faduma said it first, okay? And I haven't paid her. I have not paid her, guys, okay?
like alhamdulillah, that's all I can say, because I feel a deeper connection to Allah. I feel a deeper connection to my family. I feel a deeper connection to like when I make dhikr now, you know, because like now when I make dhikr, I can like close my eyes and like visualize all that stuff. And you know how powerful that is, like for your heart to feel something.
Of course, yes.
You feel like you're levitating. Like you feel like you're just levitating, and it's like, it's just amazing, you know? And yeah, I really pray that everybody who wants this, inshallah, you know, they get it, and they can.
Oh, alhamdulillah. Thank you for saying that, like, girl. You got me here crying. Like, Connection with Allah is so powerful. So I feel like we're so lost, you know, because we're in this world of trying to survive. We lost that connection to Allah. Just by using that connection with dhikr is so powerful. Like, I feel like sometimes we say dhikr just for the sake of it, but I know what you mean when you say it's just like you're levitating. When you're in that dhikr, just like you feel so safe. And nothing can stop me. Nothing can take this feeling away from me. Oh, that's so powerful, Faduma.
And it's like, and if you know, like everything we do is like meant to be for the sake of God, right? And working on yourself to get connected to Allah, it's like you're doing it to get a step closer to Him. And like Allah tells us, like if you come a hand, like, you know, I come like an arm's length to you, you know. So it's like you're doing this to get like more clarity on yourself and like how you want to worship God, you know, through building your relationships and like, you know, working to your purpose. So like it's literally a win-win-win.
Allahu Akbar. Thank you so much, Faduma. Thank you for sharing that. May Allah bless you and give you the best in this life and the hereafter. It's been such an honor coaching you, Faduma. Like, I love every part of you. I love all of you, Faduma. Like, you're my girl, okay? We're girls. Me and Faduma, we're girly girls, okay? we are the sisterhood, okay, guys? Oh, Faduma, thank you so much for this conversation. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for being so honest and just showing up. And yeah, I just love you. Just want to tell you that.
Thank you for your belief in us.
Oh,
thank you for your belief in us, you know. And like everybody needs like a cheerleader in their corner. And like it's so lonely to feel like you don't have that, you know. And even if like you may have it, but even if you don't recognize that you have it, like it's so lonely. And like nobody can function throughout that, you know, like you're not meant to function throughout that. And I just like wish that for everybody, like wherever they find it, you know, like inshallah, like I just hope they just keep seeking that, you know, and not ignoring that inclination in your heart to do it, you know. And like it's not meant to be like hard work, and working hard isn't meant to make you feel like you're suffering and struggling. Hard work is meant to make you feel like I'm strengthening my resolve to like get to where I'm trying to go. You know what I mean? Like it's meant to like drive you. And a lot of us are stuck, like, because I was like stuck in that, like, if it's not hard and if it's not like breaking me down, then like I'm not working hard enough. You know what I mean? Like it was just so it was really wild. And now I'm like, no, like, and like I didn't leave this container expecting never to feel challenges again. You know, like I expect to feel challenges. I expect for difficult moments to come. I expect for me to like feel sad and like have like moments of like self-doubt, but knowing and recognizing that like those feelings, those moments are literally like the chaos that you talk about, that's just like shifting us around to like bring us to where we need to be. So now when it's like a moment of chaos or like self-doubt, I'm like, wow, the good is coming, you know. And like that's where the ease is, you know. And that's where like working hard is like feels like you're not working. It just feels like you're just moving into it, you know. And alhamdulillah, like so many doors have like already started opening up for me, and I haven't even done much like that much different. I just like started to believe in it, and it's just like, you know, like it's there. It's like we're meant to feel that. And we're meant to also feel challenges and accept it. And that's where patience and gratitude comes through, you know. Like it's really incredible because we're told all these things, but once you like really start to feel it in your heart, it's like you literally you see it for what it is. And you allow yourself to like feel those difficulties, but you're not consumed by it, you know.
Yeah. Oh, mic drop. Faduma did the mic drop moment. Oh, amazing, Faduma. This was amazing. Thank you so much for just sharing your having this conversation with me. I truly, truly appreciate it, Faduma. Thank you. And yes, guys, sign up for Sacred Family Pleasure, just like Faduma said. All right. Take care, Faduma. Assalamu alaikum.